Okay. We're gonna be continuing this now and pick the right option this time. One's gonna be probably not gonna go for too long on this one because we do actually have some plans after this, but I at least want to get to like a decent stopping point for this, so we'll probably go for a little bit. Okay. Right now I can still protect my right abdomen. I just managed to block his attack. Without the denouement, it would have killed me. I'm glad I was able to act on it quickly enough. Nice moves there. Shall we dance another? No time to relax. Here comes his next strike. See it again. A future where my throat is cut clean open.
Now act on that vision. Go, Watto.
I'm actually just going to look at the thing. Yeah, he said throat. Just making sure. Keeping with my vision, I parry Renegade's attack with my cuffs. Nice. That was the easiest block so far. There's no mistaking it. The denouement kicking in now is no coincidence. Your form's improved all of a sudden. What's up with that? Renegade slashes again mid-sentence. What is it? What's coming next?
Don't panic, Watto. Wait for the denouement to activate. You must sense your own imminent demise before a premonition will be shown. Rest assured, if his strike is truly lethal, it will activate.
Right. I know Holmes speaks the truth. I soon see a vision of the knife's blade plunging straight into my chest horizontally.
A thrust at that angle would be quite dreadful indeed. The knife could slip between your ribs and pierce your heart.
I've got to dodge, but how?
It isn't necessary. A head-on assault simply needs to have its trajectory shifted. Use the cuffs to deflect the blade.
Should be the heart, right?
Yeah, I think because she said, yeah, the knife will hit
Yeah.
between the ribs and into its heart.
Ugh. I don't stop the knife, but allow the tip of its blade to slip through the cuffs, redirecting it. Renegade's arm is outstretched, leaving him defenseless. He leaps toward me.
Now's your golden opportunity. Cuff him.
As Holmes says this, I twist the handcuffs chain around his wrists, then throw all my weight into my hips and jerk sharply. I swing my arms at full strength like a hammer thrower, leaving Renegade off balance as he's caught in the shackles. Then I slam my body into the nearby table. He rolls to the floor among the broken table legs while I keep my eyes trained on him, steady my ragged breaths. Blood drips from my nose. With my vision swimming and my head pounding, I barely stop myself from crying out in pain.
You're definitely not well. You've witnessed your own death so many times in a short period. It's no wonder the side effects are so severe. Are you able to move?
Yeah, I'll manage.
Let's tie up Renegade, Detective, before he comes to. Use Techi's Shocky-Walkie.
Following Holmes' suggestion, I begin to take the stun gun out of my pocket, but then... Now I see. So you can only dodge lethal attacks, hmm? The voice coming from the ground chills me to the bone. Crap. Thinking fast, I try to jump back, but it's one moment too late. Renegade's knife penetrates my right thigh. Yep, seems you couldn't dodge that one. Ugh. I back away quickly to inspect my wounded leg. I'm still able to move it, and it hasn't gone numb. But even so, this situation is dire. Now that was a close one. You've got a lot more fight in you than I realized. Renegade climbs to his feet unsteadily. His eyes are unfocused, fixed on empty space instead of me. He'd already lost an arm before my surprise attack hit him hard. It's clear he's at his limit. Come on, let up already. Lose any more blood and you're going to die for real. True. After losing my arm, that floaty kind of feeling's only gotten worse. Almost like it's telling me it's time, you know? I'm taking it as a sign and quit already. Why are you so obsessed with me? Can't help it. You know how long I've waited for this moment to figure out Ideal Detective's abilities. After my graceless defeat and capture at Holmes' hand, I've been tingling ever since. Oh, how long I've awaited this. The climax. I found the final piece of a lifelong puzzle, and do you think I won't put it in place? Of course I will. More, let me savor every last bit. Renegade grins madly, not bothering to wipe the blood dripping from his mouth. The man before me terrifies me to the core. How does someone become so twisted? The extent of his depravity is so extreme, I can't help but wonder what brought him to this point.
Oh no, it appears Renegade has figured out how the Denoument functions.
But how? He shouldn't even know I can use this ability.
No, he...
Don't you know I have you figured out? You can see the future with those eyes of yours, can't you? His words leave me tongue-tied. For a moment I think he may be up to his usual tricks, but I don't get the sense that he's joking. Don't tell me he actually. It wasn't that difficult. I mean, there aren't many superhumans around like Ideal Detective. Her abilities aren't famous. Popular topic at that. Weary of her power, the Dayless Knight, the group I belong to, sought to remove her from the equation. Of course, the exact workings of that ability were unknown, and I'm the only one who's noticed she found a successor. You. They're famous. Is all that true?
It is. That said, my ability was top secret, so few are cognizant of the details, even within the DA. Indeed, it's quite likely the Dayless Knight was after my life. The Dayless Knight was after my life. Goodness, what a pain they are. What really troubles me, however, is the fact that he's discovered how the Denoument is triggered.
I've been working all these years trying to unravel the mystery of Ideal's power. When she died, I thought that was that. I was devastated. But like a messiah, you appeared before me. Your expression is just like hers, incompetent, burning with justice. It's been a joy to see it. I realized at once that you took up her mantle and hold the same powers, that you're my new Holmes. Come to thrill me just the same. Why couldn't I best her? How could she make such incredible leaps of logic? How could she always evade me? There's only one explanation. Holmes had the power to see her fate and foretell her own demise. I finally solved it, my dear Holmes. Okay, so you figured it out. Mystery solved. So you're done now? Like, that's it. You're good? We can move on? Renegade cackles maniacally. I'm unable to shake the feeling that my ability has been revealed to the worst possible person. Yet again, I can only consider what a monster that this individual truly is.
Incompetent, you mustn't buy into his nonsense. Do you hear me? That man is deranged.
Well, bad news for you. Sadly, you won't be able to read the future anymore. Ignoring Poacher's yells, Renegade speaks to me. I know all about your power. If you can sense death, a fatal wound won't cut it. So instead, why don't I slice you up until you're clinging to life? Time to get excited, because I'm about to carve you within an inch of your life. Renegade readies his knife and approaches me with a wicked grin. The next moment, I feel my arm get sliced open. Oh, well, it's fun. It's fun game, guys. It's over, apparently. Now this is fun. It's true, solving a mystery feels oh so good. Different from the pleasure of taking a life. That's why I'm hooked on detective work. He comes closer, waving his knife to and fro. This is bad. I still haven't thought of a way to counter him. What do I do? What do I do? I fail to block him. My arm is gashed open. My leg, and then my shoulder. Unable to stand, I crumple to my knees. It hurts. My wounds are burning as if they're on fire. I can't keep my head straight through the intense searing pain. My consciousness begins to slip, and my vision grows cloudy. I can't find the strength to stand.
Incompetent, pick yourself up. You can still get away. Watto, steel yourself in focus.
Done so soon? Guess it's Posh's turn to play then. Their voices sound distant now. I'm soaked in hot sweat. It mingles with my blood, making my whole body feel like a thick puddle of liquid. But this sensation is familiar. That's right. How could I have forgotten for so long? It hurts. I'm burning up. It's horrific. It's miserable. It's cold. It's frustrating. I'm angry, enraged, yelling, crying, praying, hoping, begging, envious. But above all, I can't forgive my helplessness. I've been in this exact situation in the past. Yeah. I finally remember. I really have felt this all before. I'm walking through the labyrinth with Saika. This is already my third time. I've gotten pretty used to it, so our progress is much faster than before. But I sense something's different than usual. That something's not quite right. I scan our surroundings carefully until I notice the air right in front of us, gently quivering like the air around a lit burner. Saika, hide. There's something here.
Really? But I don't see anything.
I mean, I can't either, but I can feel it. If we keep going, we'll die. That's when it started. From that moment on, I occasionally see glimpses of future tragedies that could occur. No matter what trap I encounter in the maze, I always manage to slip through. Since I also go out of my way to help the others subject to the experiments, they've given me the ridiculous nickname, Ideal Detective. Before I even realize it, I'm consistently leading and directing the other survivors. Until that fateful day arrives. The day I witnessed Saika's death. If we take on the maze again, Saika will die. Yeah, I had a feeling. It wasn't that long ago. It was really only like an hour ago, or an hour or two ago I figured it out, but it was just like, yeah, I guess the dream he saw was actually just his memory of the denouement kicking in and him seeing the death, not actually it happening. I can only see how these tragedies play out. I don't know how to stop these visions from becoming reality. I think and think and think some more, till I finally make up my mind. Saika, let's escape from here, together.
Huh? But how? There's cameras watching us the whole time we're in the maze.
Saika's worry is showing in her voice. I've got to be the hero she sees me as. Yes, I've got to be a great detective, like the legendary Sherlock Holmes. Come on, it's elementary, my dear Saika. I imitate our beloved Sherlock, hoping to inspire trust. If they're watching us with cameras, that means there must be secret passages for the staff to use when something goes wrong. I already found some clues hinting at this, so if we can find an opening to access one of those paths, we should be able to escape.
Wow, you really are amazing, Watto.
Saika beams happily. That's a relief. It seems that helped to put her mind at ease a bit. Good, this is the only way we're going to pull this off. In all honesty, I'm terrified. Even if we manage to find a passage, who knows what we might run into. Still, this is my only hope of saving her. Okay, Saika, leave it to me, the ideal detective. No matter what happens, I'll reverse this tragedy. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And so the time came to put our plan into action. Just as we hoped, we find a hidden path and follow it to a location we'd regularly never be able to access. But soon there's a mech we've never seen before. Unlike the rest, this one pursues us relentlessly, no matter how hard we try to shake it.
Watto, why is it following us like this?
I quickly shield Saika, taking a direct slash from the red machine's blade. I can feel my body rapidly losing blood. The fresh cut burns like I've been set on fire. My chest grows heavy as a chill comes over me. Even to my young mind, I recognize that this must be what dying feels like. Sorry, Saika, I couldn't protect you.
Why are you saying sorry? I should be the one apologizing. If only I'd been as strong as you, this never would have happened.
I hear Saika's distraught voice as my consciousness fades. Tears stream down her face as she stares at me. Then the tears suddenly stop.
Hey, can you hear me? You can hear me, right? You're watching us, aren't you? I don't care what you do to me. I'll hand myself over to you completely. So please, save Watto. I'll even take his place. I'll become the ideal detective.
I can distinctly make out Saika's words. Not only that, but her determination. No, she can't do that. No. She can't shoulder everything in my place. That shouldn't be an option here. I make an effort to extend my nearly bloodless hand toward Saika. She takes it in hers, flashes a wide grin, and speaks to me directly.
It'll be fine. It's me we're talking about. I never had anything. My parents abandoned me when I was born. I was cut off from my older brother, too. I didn't think I had a place anywhere. But you alone protected me, Watto. So I've decided to protect you, too. I can't keep talking all kitty-like. I've got to get stronger. Be stronger. From here on, I am Ideal Detective. Farewell, Watto.
My consciousness whites out again. I come to the enemies before me. Well then, it's about time I took off one of those feet. Renegade lifts his knife with a grin. I move in a flash and manage to catch his blade with the handcuffs. Wait, you're even faster now. What's the deal? Aren't you supposed to be dying? This is nothing. Rather, I realized I've been holding back up till now. Warmth slowly returns to my chilled, anemic body. Now I understand why Holmes, no, Saika, had been so evasive about our past. It's only natural. As if she could just say something like, I was saved because I took your place, or I've been living in your stead ever since. Of course she'd feel driven by guilt. No way she'd be able to share any of that with me. She's been protecting me from the very start. That image of Saika that had been burned in my mind, it was a denouement vision all along. Why didn't I realize it sooner? What's with the soliloquy? Starting to lose it from all that blood loss? That's right. With his knife still trapped, I ram the tip of my foot into Renegade's unguarded stomach. He grasps from the impact. It's a direct hit. He backs off a little before readying his knife once again, though his expression doesn't change. Sweat gathers at his brow. I'm relieved. You're finally fighting with the intent to kill me, aren't you? You really think I'd stoop so low? I refuse to take a life, even from a renegade like you. Well, isn't that sweet? This is your final warning. Fight like you want to kill me. You can't stop me until you're ready to take responsibility for the life of another. Renegade contorts his body and swings the knife down toward me. Another non-lethal attack only meant to hurt me. The denouement won't allow me to read it. But there's a hole in his offense. I take the cuffs that I'd only been gripping in front of me so far and forcefully swing them backwards. You're not gonna block? As he guns for me, I bring the handcuffs down on him with all my might. Renegade Detective's knife nicks my shoulder, drawing more blood. Same time, however, my fist strikes his forehead, flinging him into the nearby bookshelf. Just as planned, if I tried to block, there's no way I could have read his movements. But since he wasn't trying to kill me, I didn't need to stop him. Renegade picks himself up shakily, swaying a bit as he stands. My hit clearly dealt some damage.
I'll be back.
Yep. Okay. Wasn't expecting that. To think you knew I wasn't going for the kill, so you struck back, even when it meant you'd get sliced too. You and Workaholic are right. Maybe I am too nice. I'm a coward who isn't prepared to take the life of another. But even so, I've been grappling with the idea this whole time. In order to stop someone dangerous, is it truly necessary to kill to end their life? But now I finally found my answer. Even so, I'm ready to put my life on the line to protect all that I can.
Alright,
Renegade Detective? Oh, yeah. Renegade Detective, no matter what you do, I swear to put an end to this myself.
Watto.
Just in time. You get to say a word.
Yeah, sorry, I was just getting a call. Just need to see if it's important.
No, yeah, I figured. It's just funny that it's just like, you're like, okay, I'm back. And then it's like, okay, here's your one word for the episode.
Yeah, you had an entire monologue.
From beside me, Psyche calls out my name. She can read my mind, so she must realize without me saying anything. I've remembered it all, including the reality that 10 years ago, Psyche saved my life by taking the title of Ideal Detective herself. This whole time, I thought I failed to rescue her, but in a way, I had actually sacrificed Psyche in order to survive. I feel a tinge of despair at how conveniently I twisted my memories. Still, there's no time to wallow. I speak as if trying to convince myself. I could let her try to convince me, but I'm not going to. That's right, what I need to do now is stop the menace in front of me. As the original Ideal Detective, this is my duty. Turns out half-assed measures won't cut it. Time to do what I was doing before, aiming to kill. Your predictions seem like they take a toll, though. Wonder who will hold out longer. As declared, Renegade Detective draws near me with his knife at the ready. If he's set on using lethal force, I should be able to use the Denoument. Our next exchange might be the deciding factor. For now, I just need to hang in there and trust I'll find the chance to counter him. Left. He's going left. If he's going left, then that means I want to...
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Nope. No, they're not... Okay. It's not trying to trick me off or anything. Before I can react, my throat is split open. Warmth splatters from my neck down to my chest, and my legs go numb. Damn it, I saw it coming, too.
Okay, so choose center next time.
Yeah. No, it's... Coming from the left, I aim for the left. That's simple. Prepare for the strike and move my cuffs to the left. A flash of metal makes my ears ring. If I hadn't seen the future, my ear would have been cut clean off. Another from the left. No, wait, it's faint. He's coming from the right. Center.
Yeah, I figured maybe if it wasn't pandering, maybe you go like where he would leave himself open, you know? That's why I thought it, might be right.
Yeah, I was just thinking it was trying to like confuse me with like, oh, his left is my right or something, but no, it was being very clear. I don't let his feint fool me, and instead manage a right-hand block with my cuffs. But the shock of the blow is more than I can handle, forcing one of my knees to the floor. That pause, Renegade Detective hunches down and slips past my guard. No way he'd miss an opportunity like this. I haven't had this much fun in a long time, incompetent. Anyway, bye-bye. The knife is thrust straight toward me. My current position, there is no escape. This won't be easy to fend off. But that's fine by me. With him stabbing directly at me, I know exactly what to do. Beg for my life. Take the friend from my pocket and aim it directly at Renegade. Wait, that's... The key to manipulating others is to provide a clear-cut objective. That's what you said, isn't it? I took a knee on purpose. In this position, my aim is more stable, but more importantly, it drew my enemy closer of his own accord. Attacking with a knife brought him within 2 meters, the range of my weapon. It's over. Stop or I'll shoot. Renegade ignores my warning and lunges forward without hesitation. I pull the trigger. On taking the shot, I hear gunpowder ignite. Spike shoot from the chamber and bore into Renegade's stomach. His entire body convulses wildly. His tall frame leans, but doesn't fall. He advances, erratic step after erratic step, grinning as he peers down at me. You actually pulled the trigger. Weren't you worried I'd get electrocuted to death? As if a bastard like you would die from a stun gun. I almost voiced the thought, but managed to stop myself. He's lost an arm and a substantial amount of blood. His body just took a huge shock, and yet he's still standing, stubbornly pursuing the ideal detective. I'm struck by a feeling when I consider that his life has also been upended by an ideal detective. Not sympathy or kinship, but something else. So out of earshot, I whispered to him quietly. I'll check your answers for you. I, no we, can sense death, just as you suspected. That's how I knew pulling this trigger wouldn't kill you. Does that work for your final piece or whatever? Uh-huh. So my theory was right. He laughs for a few moments and lets out a sigh of contentment. He looks deeply satisfied, his crazed expression replaced with utter calm. Thanks, incompetent. I found my missing piece in the best way possible. For once, I get the feeling I'm gonna sleep well tonight. The man lurches forward, toppling to the ground. His talking stops abruptly, but I can hear him breathing, so he should still be alive. It's over at last. With a heavy exhale, I finally relax my tensed-up muscles. You just sleep tight down there. I clench my trembling fists and suck air into my empty lungs, feeling as though I've been brought back from the dead. Compared to Renegade Detective, I've definitely worse for wear. He had me at every turn. I only won thanks to his carelessness. But otherwise, he definitely would have killed me. Still, I can't help but feel proud of myself. I survived my first ever life or death fight.
Incompetent, you were magnificent.
Posh? Posh's eyes brim with tears as she scrambles across the room to me. I'm a mess, so you better stay back. There's blood everywhere.
Those wounds are badges of honor. The mess won't bother me one bit. Come, let's get you patched up right away. Thankfully, the bleeding's about stopped. They're likely not as deep as they look.
Oh, before that, we need to figure out how to remove that collar thing. No need for that. Huh? Still lying on the floor, Renegade rolls over on his back before continuing. I know how to detonate it, but not how it's actually attached. All I did was wrap it on her to make it look the part. It'll come right off if you try, but to be fair with all my threats earlier, you weren't really in the position to risk it before.
I beg your pardon? Though I did find it odd how you wound it around my arm, despite resembling a tattoo.
You mean to say you were bluffing all along? A word-winning performance, no? I've always been a talented actor. Despite our battle and full blast from the stun gun, Renegade hops to his feet, looking totally unconcerned. I take a defensive stance out of reflex, but Renegade Detective raises an empty left palm as if to signify his surrender. Relax, I can move, sure, but I don't have the strength to fight back. Anyway, you've grown way more than I anticipated, Incompetent. You finally remember just how many lives are your responsibility. I feel so whole, I don't want to do anything else for a good while. Just want to soak this all in.
Revolting. You're vile beyond salvation. You mean to say that everything you did was purposefully intended to jog Incompetent's memory?
Sure was. I knew your past, Incompetent. I was positive your growth would be explosive if you managed to take responsibility for Ideal's life. Why do you care so much about others bearing the burden for stuff like that? True to his name, Renegade really is a man going against the system. Even so, I can sense how unwavering his convictions are. Can't help but ask him, this person who's caused me so much suffering, how he came to hold such strong beliefs. Renegade Detective, are your principles somehow tied to what you went through on this island? I don't usually talk about myself, but whatever, I'll humor you. Consider it thanks for indulging me earlier. Let me tell you a tale from way back when. My family prized tradition over all, so from day one, my individuality was like heresy. Apparently that's why they gave me to the SP, like Holmes' parents. How many times did I go through that maze for their experiments? It was so long ago my memory's fuzzy, but I remember seeing all those kids die. The cell beds we fought over at first outnumbered us in time. At that point, I was hailed as one of 5 gifted subjects who could survive any trial. They called me Invincible Detective. During our repeated, life-threatening experiments, I realized they wouldn't stop until only one of us was left. So I figured if I died there, all the lives lost would have gone to waste. Basically, even as a sole survivor, I could give their lives meaning. So that's when you escaped. Yep, not with everybody else though, sad to say.
What a truly dreadful story. So the DA's predecessor, the secret police, was behind everything after all?
Having heard Renegade Detective's story, Baj's expression has grown somber. It's easy to sympathize with his experience, and I accept how it would shape his beliefs. But even so... Renegade, I understand where you're coming from now, but you can't push your beliefs on others. You really think everyone has to bear responsibility for the lives around them? Here's the thing, even if I'm spitting in the face of God, I won't betray my principles. I'll follow them and make others do the same. You won't accept my beliefs just as I won't accept your sense of justice. We could do this 1,000 times over and nothing would change. I agree with you there. Beat your misdeeds 1,000 times if you want. I promise to stop you each and every time. Still so green around the ears? Green, sweet, and all too tender, like an unripened fruit that'll bruise at a touch. But fine by me, that's what gets me tinkling after all. With all of my heart I pray your growth continues, Incompetent Detective. Neither of us says another word. We're both in silent agreement. The fact of the matter is, he and I will never see eye to eye.
Good heavens, are you quite finished with your flim-flam yet? Tie up that scoundrel so we can return to the lobby. Toot the sweet.
Bosch sighs in exasperation, but the very next moment...
What in the world is going on?
Calm down, I'm sure the power just went out. I take out my D-pad and toggle on its flashlight. When I point the light forward, I notice the Renegade Detective has disappeared. He should have been standing right in front of me. Renegade Detective's gone.
Pardon? How is that possible?
I arc the light across the entire room, but no one's here aside from Posh and me. Could it be that he intentionally planned this outage in order to make his escape? He must have fled. Let's go after him.
You bumbling oaf. Moving about in the darkness would be horrendously reckless. Come across a trap, and it will be the Curly Gates for us.
You mean the Pearly Gates?
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, what?
Yeah,
I thought it was
I figured that was intentional.
Same difference. Now come here. Stand back to back with me and pay close attention to our surroundings.
Gotcha. As directed, I turn my back against Posh's. We scan the area with our D-pad flashlights. As expected, there's no sign of anyone.
We mustn't get careless now, understood? We can give chase once our eyes have adjusted to the darkness.
Right, sorry. Contemplate how much growing I still have to do as a detective, when suddenly, the lights came back on. Of course, there's still no trace of Renegade Detective, but we need to pursue him right away. But then, in a piercingly shrill tone, a bell sounds off.
This way, incompetent. It appears an emergency alarm has been triggered. Looks like something bad
dead?
happened.
Okay, well, we'll have
I
to
see some.
we'll have to see what this is. Huh? That's... As the alarm continues to ring, we're confronted with a shocking sight that makes us convulse in horror. Workaholic droops limply, handcuffed to a pipe extending from the fire extinguisher. His entire body is soaked. Countless lacerations cover him like a torture victim.
Workaholic, what on earth happened here?
He doesn't respond to our cries. Could it be? His chest has been stabbed, but the wounds aren't deep. I'll check for a pulse. Workaholic held his ground against Renegade Detective. There's no way he could die like this. I hurried to take his pulse. However,
Incompetent, stop. It's too dangerous to touch him.
huh? What? Dolful sprints towards me, but he's too late. I've already made contact with the Workaholic's body. Pain immediately wrecks me like flames on my skin. What is this?
Look, there's a bare electrical wire touching the pipe. Workaholic was electrocuted by the high voltage running through the cuffs. Really? So he's already...
We don't know that for sure. The way Incompetent reacted, the current doesn't seem to be all that powerful. We can still save him if it was just a shock. Let's get those cuffs off of him quick. Gourmet takes a fork from her pocket, raises it high up, and slashes the chain connecting the handcuffs to the pipe in one stroke. Now we can touch him. Quick, he needs CPR. What happened? Bookworm and Techie join us. I run to Techie to see if he has anything to help. Techie, we need you. Workaholic is in trouble. Do you have a defibrillator or anything like that? Of course. Just a moment. I'll get Zippy Zappy, my life-saving friend. I borrowed Techie's tool and put everything I have into getting Workaholic's heart back in rhythm. Couldn't have been long since he was shocked. We can still make it. There's still time. I'm sure of it.
What is it this time? That noise, it was above us, right?
Did something happen to the elevator? Asked the girl, referring to what very well may have just occurred.
I'd completely forgotten. Didn't Renegade Detective still have the elevator key with him when he escaped?
I'll keep trying to resuscitate him. The rest of you go inspect the elevator.
That appears to be our only option. Come along, Doleful.
I'll go with you too, Posh. Techie, Bookworm, can you stay and help Incompetent? Of course. Incompetent Detective, if you grow tired, let me know, and I'll take over, the girl said, lack of faith in her physical strength notwithstanding. Thanks. Be careful, everyone. Okay, and on that note, despite how much crap is going on here, I think we have to leave it for now.
Yep. So he's dead, or maybe not, or maybe he is, or maybe not.
Yep. We will have to find out next time, though.
I mean, he's my character, so he's definitely dead.
That's true.
Right?
So he's probably dead. He's probably dead, and Posh was also dead at the elevator. Yeah. Posh and Doleful, they both died. Yes.
That or it's a fake out. Renegade's actually wearing Workaholic's skin He's wearing a workaholic suit.
Oh,
He's just
nice.
hiding,
Yeah, that's
just
weird.
waiting to attack.
I could see that. But yeah, no, we will have to find out more next time.